Shall we? I know that you guys have been waiting for this and I've been waiting for it. It's been really good. I first did a few webinars like this about 10 years ago. And I've these things like you get kind of caught up in doing the business every day. Everything's been going really well for 10 years. And I thought, I haven't done any of these webinars. So let's do one. Let's get it live. So just a brief introduction of me, who I am and what I do. This is me. I am Mark Oborn. I started my life in dentistry as a technician. Back in the early 90s, I worked in the West End of London. And then we moved the laboratory to Potter's Bar in around 2013, 12, 13, something like that. And as with many people, we start to run a business and we actually become quite good at running a business. But we then get to the point where we think, well, we're good at running the business because we're good with these things. We're good with our hands. We're good with our eyes as technical people we are in dentistry. And now I realised I didn't have a clue about how to run a business. So I did a master's degree in business with the Open University. And as part of that, I was introduced to NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and I went on training to become a certified master practitioner of NLP as well. So I'm really the only person working in dentistry in digital marketing that's got a background in marketing and business, background in dentistry and in communication with the NLP. So I don't work in the laboratory at all now. I spend my entire time helping dentists attract more new patients online with digital marketing. So let's get cracking, shall we? Let's get straight into this presentation. And I've called it Creating an Online Marketing Machine That Never Sleeps, because certainly what I've found over the years is that as I have created as I've used more and more digital marketing and I've come away from kind of offline marketing, I've realized that I often receive email replies and notifications from people weird times of the day. So I can remember the first time I started to use email marketing, I got a response and I think, well, I haven't sent an email to this person. What are they responding to? And then I realized it's because I've got automated systems setting up that were communicating with these people 24 hours a day. And the same has happened today. So I sent out a Facebook message I've got quite a few people that are registered with me on Facebook. I sent out a Facebook chat message to them and suddenly got a load of replies thinking, well, what are they replying to? It's like, I've been using digital marketing. I've been using a system that's communicating all of the time with people, even when I'm asleep, even when I'm not working, even when I'm having holiday. And that's really what I want to talk about today. And of course, I can't go into massive detail in a 45-minute or so webinar, but what I can do is give you a broad overview, which is what I'll do. So I'll give you an overview of kind of all of the techniques that I use, how they link together, why they link together. And then at the end, I'm going to give you some resources that you can go to start some of this yourself. And I'm also going to give you a way that you can grab this presentation as well as a PDF file with clickable links to go out to those resources. So it's worth sticking around to the end so you find out how to get those that little bit of information from me. So, creating an online machine. What is in this machine? Well, it's primarily made up of two key areas. That first area is traffic optimization. Without traffic, without getting seen, without people seeing you online, any digital marketing that you do is absolutely pointless. It's very much like creating a piece of printed marketing and then doing it very nicely and leaving it right on the counter and no one actually seeing it at all. It's completely pointless. And digital marketing is very much the same. So the first thing we need to do is kind of is to get seen, is to get people to our website or to your website and get noticed. And there are a variety of techniques we can use to optimize for traffic. That is search engine optimization, SEO, which is made up of three components really. The first one is research. Without knowing what are people searching for online? It's very difficult to know, well, what do we optimize for? Once we've done the research, we can then do some work on our website and off our website. And I'm going to go through that very briefly this evening. We can then use social media, which can be a really great way to optimize for traffic. This can be a brilliant way to start the conversation going. And then when people are at the right point in their decision-making process, we can use social media to drive traffic to our website or to other forms of our marketing. PPC, paid advertising, pay per click is what PPC stands for, can also be a really good way to optimize traffic, to get people to your website or to get people to the place at which you are going to convert them, or we hope to convert them, into a paying patient. And email can be really good as well. If you're using email to send to a database, within that email, you can have suggestions to forward that email on to friends. Or within that email, you can say, why not visit this section of my site, visit this social media stream, visit this other port of marketing within that email, and use email to drive traffic as well. And you'll see how this all starts to fit together as we go on. Now, okay, so we say, right, let's look at traffic. We've done that. I'm going to show you how in a minute, but let's say we've done that. The next thing is to say, well, if we've got all of this traffic, that's absolutely pointless unless we have the conversions. If it's great, we could spend hours and hours and generate 1 million visitors to our website or to some form of web page, 1 million visitors a week. But if no one takes any action, if no one converts, then what's the point? It's actually completely pointless. So conversion optimization is really, really, really important. And this is where kind of pure marketing, pure academic marketing comes into play. And conversion optimization is around calls to action, is around getting people, getting the right words and phrases on your website and in your media to get people to take action. And we can also use social media as part of that conversion optimization. And we'll talk about how social media can be used. And again, I use email. So you see email, social media appears in traffic and conversion optimization. It can be used very much in two ways. So let's get a little bit more in detail here. Now, I'm hoping that you can see some of the detail of this on your screen. If you're looking on a mobile phone, you may find it a little bit difficult. This might look a bit small, so I will read things out to you. But research is really important. Research is really, really important. And by the way, I'll give you a link to be able to download this presentation at the end so that you can see this in more detail. But research is really important. I'm just going to make that screen a little bit bigger. So I'll go back a screen. Let me just go back one. So the first thing that I did was I've got some software, and I'll give you the links to this at the end. I've got some software and I looked at teeth whitening. So I typed in teeth whitening as what I call a seed phrase, a seed word. So if we wanted to optimize a single page of your website, we would choose a seed phrase: dental implants, Invisalign, teeth whitening, dentist in Watford, Bridport, Axminster, wherever you live, or any of those kind of seed or those primary treatments that you offer. We type it in as a seed word, and I use software to then delve down deeper into that phrase. So teeth whitening, what words and phrases, what questions are people using to around that teeth whitening phrase? So let's just move forwards a little bit, and you can see I have filtered this by questions. So the software that I use, which I'll give you a link to at the end, the software that I use, it can filter by words and phrases and by questions. Now, questions are really good. Questions are a really good way to optimize your site, to get these questions and answers onto your website. And I'll show you where you get them on your website in a moment. But questions are really good because people are using these things. People are using these things to search all the time. I've got a Google Home thing sitting at home here, and Google Home can work really, really well because I use it to search all the time. And searching using one of these devices is what a lot of people do. And when they search with a device, they speak a phrase. So find me a dentist in the Axminster area. How can I whiten teeth at home? Does coconut oil teeth whitening actually work? People search using these they're called long tail keywords, long tail phrases. They use these long phrases. And the software such as this can help us dig down into those phrases to find out what people are searching for. And we're looking for a few different elements here. So one of these elements is volume. I want to know how many people per month in my area are searching for that phrase. So the software allows us to go by volume. So you can see I've got here how to whiten teeth, 6,600 searches for that query in 1 month in my area. KD is keyword difficulty, but this software ranks it out of 100. So the closer to 100 we've got, the harder it is going to be to rank for that word. And results in SERP. SERP is search engine results page. And once that gives us the number of search results that appear. So for example, how to whiten teeth has the highest search volume, but it also, keyword difficulty of 86%, that's quite high. And you're competing with 13.4 million pages online. If I remove myself from this for a second, so I can see a few more of them on there. If we look a little bit further down this list, we start to see some other opportunities appear. So let's look at how to whiten teeth with baking soda. How to whiten teeth with baking soda. Now we've only got 11 million, say 11 million. It's gone down a little bit, 11 million searches. Or if we drop down 1.6 million, so there are only 1.6 million searches, search results of people using this phrase. Does coconut oil whiten teeth? We've got keyword difficulty of 75, so it's considerably lower than this how to whiten teeth. So what I would then be doing is saying, how can I use this knowledge and information to get my website ranking? Rather than saying, right, that's it, I want to get my website ranking for teeth whitening. What I might say is, well, actually teeth whitening might be pretty difficult, but does coconut oil does coconut oil whiten teeth? Now that I might be able to get to rank because the keyword difficulty is low. Still has a good number of searches, not very many results in the search engine in the pages when people search for it. So yes, I could probably get something to rank for that. If I can get that to rank, I can link that to my teeth whitening page of my website, which then in turn will help that to rank. If my page that talks about coconut oil teeth whitening, people like it, people are searching for it, they start to share it. Those shares get more traffic to the site and you start to get this snowball effect. You get people visiting, reading, sharing, reading, visiting, sharing, and so it goes on. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about these links and getting these things to link together in a moment. But research, you can see why it is really important. Search optimization in itself is not mega difficult, but the research can take some significant time in order to find out exactly the words and phrases to use. And this is where blogs come in. So you might have a teeth whitening page and you might do blogs about all of these different forms of teeth whitening. How to whiten teeth at home, great blog post. Is teeth whitening safe? Great blog post. Does charcoal whiten teeth? Blog post. Does coconut oil whiten teeth? Blog post. How long does teeth whitening last? Blog post. So you can see we can write 5 different blog posts, pulling in traffic all around those teeth whitening phrases, all then linking to your teeth whitening page. See? Clever stuff, isn't it? Okay, let's move on because I've got a lot to get through. So we've said we've done some research, and I'll show you some of the ways that you can do that as well. We've done some research. We're now going to say, well, how are we going to get our website optimized for these phrases? Where should these phrases go? It should go in places like the browser title. So you know when you have a web page open and you've got multiple pages open, you can very often see at the top the name of that browser page. That browser page that's open is the browser title. And if you've got multiple tabs open, you'll see the titles all across the top. Even when you're looking at one, you'll see the title across of all the others. That browser title is used in the optimization. So if you wanted to optimize for teeth whitening in Axminster, teeth whitening in Watford, teeth whitening in Devon, or does coconut oil whitened teeth, you need to get that phrase into your browser title. The next place is you need to get it into the page title and to the heading. So when you look at a page, that big text that you get at the top of a page, most likely, and I'll show you an example in a minute, you need to get that same word or phrase in there as well. You then need to be repeating that word and phrase throughout the content, but beware. You could go with, you could over optimize with what's called keyword stuffing. And keyword stuffing is using that word and phrase all over the place, over and over and over again. So you really don't want it appearing more than 3 or 4% of all the text that's in the page. So you can't just put teeth whitening, teeth whitening, teeth whitening, teeth whitening, and hope that it gets found. You'll actually get a penalty from that, an algorithmic penalty from Google for keyword stuffing. So keep those keywords to 3 or 4% of your content. Bold. So use bold within the content as well. So bold and highlights and italics also give Google a little signal when Google was reading a web page, which it will, probably multiple times a day. It gives Google a really good signal as to what your page is about, as do bullet points and numbered lists. Image descriptions. So on an image on a web page, we have an alternate tag, an alternate description. That is there for people that have visual impairments and they have visual impairment aids enabled on their web browser, which speak to them. And it will then, because if they can't see the image, it will then speak the description of that image. It's a very low signal to Google, but Google uses that alternate description, that alternate tag on your website as a signal as to what that page is about. Links to other pages on your site. This is really, really important. It's possible on a website to have orphaned pages. So you could have a page, which might be your teeth whitening page, that doesn't get linked to from any other page. Google will view that as an orphan. And Google says, you know, orphans, they're obviously an orphan web page is not very important because none of your other pages link to it. If you make sure that you have the pages in your site that you really want to have strong, like your implants page, your Invisalign page, your teeth whitening page, or perhaps emergency dentist page, we need to make sure that these pages have links from within your site linking to them, clickable links. So for example, to optimize your teeth whitening page, you have your main teeth whitening page, then you have all the blog posts that we've just spoken about, and all those blog posts should link to your teeth whitening page. And Google notices that. Google maps these links as a little spider's web diagram of all these links linking together. And it says, what is the most popular page on your website? Which one's got most links to it? These internal links. And it can say, well, that teeth whitening page, that's got a link from this blog post and that blog post and that blog post and that blog post and the cosmetic dentistry page, and teeth whitening must be important. It gives it a little lift, and when Google's doing its calculations as to which pages are the ones should rank on a search result, the teeth whitening page, if you've done that, gets a little bit of a lift. So make sure that you've got these internal links. And links to other pages on other websites. And it used to be that this was a frowned upon thing, linking out to another website. But what it does is if you link to really good resources, it shows that you are a good resource and a good place for Google to send traffic. So let's say, for example, let's say you want to optimize your teeth whitening page. You create your multiple blog posts around all those different topics we've said, and you link to it. That's your internal linking. Within that article about teeth whitening, you might also talk about hydrogen peroxide and teeth whitening gel, and that you can have perhaps 3-6% carbamide peroxide. Now, you might not want to talk particularly about what carbamide peroxide is, but you might want to link someone out to another website where they do talk about carbamide peroxide, and it makes your web page that talks about teeth whitening more of a valuable resource because people can be reading it. Well, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Oh, carbamide peroxide. What's that? Click. Make sure you open that. Make sure you make the link open up a new tab so you don't lose them from your page. If you bounce them straight away from your page, you lose that visitor. So open it up as a new tab. but keep that link there. Think about other things like teeth whitening trays. You may want to link to the laboratory you use for teeth whitening trays, or to the company that make your teeth whitening trays. You might want to talk about cross-infection control. You could then link to perhaps the CQC, link to websites that talk about HTML 105. So by putting these links out from your website to other really useful, valuable resources to the reader, Google notices that and says, do you know what? This website that's talking about teeth whitening, it's a really good resource. Not only has it got lots of links coming into it, but also it links to other really good websites. Think about research papers. So if you can link out to research papers, it makes your teeth whitening page so much more valuable. Google will notice how valuable it is and then send more and more people to it. So really useful, really useful. So let me just show you where this goes. So that is a browser title, as you can see there. That's what browser titles look like in the top. And I just want to give you kind of a little bit of proof about this. So this is my main title on my website and my web page. It's called an H1 header. So a heading number 1, the biggest header. And I used to have relax, knowing your dental website, social media and online dental marketing is working for you. Now I've had it like that ever since I've had the website. So this is about the 4th iteration of the website, but it's been the same for about 10 years. And a little while ago, I decided that I would do some research. Simon's joined. Hello, Simon. I decided that I'd do some research to find out with online marketing what keywords and phrases people are searching for and people are using. I did that. So I then changed my heading. So now I found out, sorry, you can't see that. Let me just show that to you better. Let's remove my image. There you go. That people dentists search for dental patient marketing company. So I changed the heading on my site from, if I go back, from relax, knowing a dental website, social media and online dental marketing is working for you, to looking for a dental patient marketing company. Now, if I Google dental patient marketing company, exclude the adverts, there you go. There I am. So that's kind of proof that what I'm saying works. If you get these words and phrases in the heading of your site, you will start to rank for it. And there is proof. Dental patient marketing company, there's the search, there's me, number 1. Obviously, I'm just going to be below the adverts because I'm not bidding on that phrase. I want to be found naturally. But there's proof that it works. So, thank you, Simon. Yes, I am very well. I'm very well, thank you. And I hope you are too. So let's move on. So this is a typical website. So this is one for a site that I was involved with. And here's some examples. So answers your dental veneer questions. There's a search phrase, dental veneer questions. How many dental veneers will I need? What are the benefits of porcelain dental veneers? Are there problems with dental veneers? What is the dental veneers procedure? So you can see we're using questions as headings throughout that web page to optimize the website for dental veneers. And it's the same principle applies for any single website, any single page you want to optimize, whether it be implants, whether it be Invisalign, whatever it is. Use questions throughout that page, put them as headings and answer the questions. Use bold. As you can see here, I've got bold. I've got lists, so include lists with keywords and phrases in it. You can see I've got veneers in here, chipped teeth, teeth gaps, discoloration. So really, content is absolutely king when we come to optimizing a website. More complex things, unfortunately, which need to be looked at are things like, is it easy to navigate? Do you have these clickable links? How quick does your website load? There is a little page check or page speed checker. If you do a Google search for page speed checker, Google will check your website, let you know how quickly it loads and tell you whether it is loading too fast, too slowly or about right. Bounce rate. Bounce rate is the number of people that land on a site then disappear again without taking any further action. So for example, if every single person landed on your website and then started to browse through it and look and do other things, you would have a 0% bounce rate. If every single person looked at your website, then went straight back to Google to search again, you'd have a 100% bounce rate. And Google uses bounce rate as an indicator of how relevant was that website that I've just sent someone to for that search query. If you have a high bounce rate, it means people will go to your site, they go, nah, that's not answering my question, and away they go. So you want to have a low bounce rate. Time on the site, make sure your site's engaging, have video on there, have a clickable link so that people can read around it. And Google notices how long someone's on your site. It goes, you know what, this person's on this site for 5 minutes. This is a good website. I'll send more traffic. That's another good way to get people to your site. And the age of the domain registration. So how long has that domain been registered? It's a very low signal to Google. But for example, you get these churn and burn websites that pop up that people just want to make a load of money very quickly. And then they sell the website. They over optimize it for a very small range of search phrases. But the domain is very, very young. And Google says, well, if you've got a very young domain, you haven't been around that long, not going to rank you very highly. It's a very low indicator to Google, but just bear that in mind. If you're thinking about creating new websites, new domains, Google does look at the age of your domain to work out how important is your site. So, search engine optimization off of your website. Please do feel free to ask questions as we go. Just type a question in, I can see them live and I can respond and answer your questions as we go forwards. So, off-site search engine optimization. This is a little bit of a strange one. It's what Google views as testimonials, really. So, or a referral. So we all know that the best form of marketing is this mouth to mouth. I was going to call it person to person marketing, word of mouth. That's it, not mouth to mouth. Word of mouth marketing. So the word of mouth marketing is the best form of marketing. We all know that. And Google knows it as well. So Google says, well, word of mouth marketing is, are people talking about you? Hello, Sue. Thank you for saying hi. Very nice to see you. People are talking to Google knows if people are talking about you because Google will see links to your website. So for example, I was talking a minute ago about saying on your website, if you link out to a carbon peroxide post or a Wikipedia post about teeth whitening trays or something like that, that will actually seek to optimize that website because Google says, well, you've linked to it. It must be a useful resource. That is your word of mouth referral for that website. So we need to get people doing that to us as well. People saying, wow, your website is fabulous. I'm going to talk about it and put a link to it. And there are lots of ways we can do that. Engaging on Facebook is a great way of doing it. Engaging on forums can also be a great way. People will put a link. So I've seen Mumsnet can be really good. If you've got really good quality content on your website. So for example, let's say you've got on your website a bit about baby tooth development, or you're talking about bringing children to the dentist and how to look after kids' teeth. And you've got a really useful blog post. You've done your research. You've got all these questions on there and answers that people might search for. People are finding your page. You've linked out to other useful resources, so Google sees it as a good resource. You've got other pages on your website linking to it, so Google goes, wow, this blog post is really, really important. And then someone finds it and they go to Mumsnet, and they're chatting away on Mumsnet, very high ranking website, Mumsnet. And they say, well, someone's asked a question. And they say, well, I've just read this brilliant blog post that answers your question about when should you bring a child to the dentist? And they put a link to your blog post. Game on. You've now got a link from Mumsnet, very high value, back to your site. And that is exactly what we're talking about here. We're talking about here is your website, and here may be a blog that quotes your website and points back. You may have social media bookmarks on Twitter, Facebook that point back to you. You may have a local business directory listing that points back to you. You may have someone that writes an article somewhere that links back to your website. They are only going to link back to your website. Hi, Nishan, by the way. Thank you for joining us. They are only going to link back to your website if you create useful, valuable content. They're not going to link to you and say, this is brilliant, and recommend you to their friends if your content's crap. So again, blog posts, creating really good content. And then we can get articles, people will automatically link back. And then what we really want is people linking to that article, linking back to you. And you get this whole spider's web, this whole network of everything linking back to your website. And the more you can get that done, the more you will optimize your site. If you go to Google Webmaster Tools, so if you type in, if you just do a Google search for Webmaster Tools, search on Google, you can link your website. So it will just say create account. You put your web address into Webmaster Tools, and you can then see how many of these links you've got coming back to your website. Google will let you know how many links you've got going back to your website. And I highly recommend you use Google Webmaster Tools to check the number of links, where the links are coming from, how many you've got, what pages they're linking to, and it gives you a whole load more information about your website as well. So that's Google Webmaster Tools. Now, moving on. Attracting inbound links. So we want to get these links back to our website. How can we do it? The number one thing is create exciting and engaging content that people want to share. People will not share and talk about you if you have a boring sales website that all you want to do is to sell yourself. Why would anyone share that? Boring. Blog posts are the way to go. Create interesting, engaging blog posts. People will share. People will link to it. I've seen it happen over and over and over again, and websites and blogs ranking higher and higher and higher. Distribute your content on social media. If you do that and distribute your content on social media and via email, encourage people to share, you are getting them, you're asking them to share that content for you. It's in their mind. They may write a similar blog post. So for example, you may have a local photographer, a local florist, a local wedding planner. They may be on your social media stream. They may see you on social media, and you've just written a blog post about preparing for a wedding with dentistry. At what point should you go to the dentist prior to your wedding? So a year you want to think about implants or Invisalign, and 6 month smiles and other forms of orthodontics, and 3 months before you might want to think about crowns and bridges and veneers, and then you get the picture. But you could create a blog post about that. And you might find that a local wedding or florist, a local wedding organizer, a local florist, photographer picks up on it, sees it and goes, this would be brilliant for me to share. I'm going to write a blog post about it as well and link back to you. There you've got another link back to your website. So create engaging content. Add value to the content, to other people's customers. So I'm talking about photographers, florists, wedding planners. Add value to their customers as well. So how to plan for a wedding by looking after your teeth could be a really good one. Do you think you send that article to other wedding planners in the area and say, I've written this article. Do you fancy putting a link to it on your website? You might then want to do another blog post about looking great in photographs. What can you do with your teeth to look great in photographs? Send it around to local photographers. They may put a link on their website. You could register on directories, not on the dental directory website, but on dental directory websites, of which there are lots of them around, and outreach. Reach out to healthcare and dental bloggers. And I do this all of the time. I've got some software that manages it for me, but I outreach to dental bloggers and say, hey, we've written some really good content, and I'm doing this on behalf of my clients. We've written some really good content. Do you fancy putting a link back to it on your website? We even offer to write a blog post for them to put on their website, so they don't have to do it. And within that, we put a link back to our website. It's labor intensive, but it can work. So let's move on to social media. Social media for search optimization or for traffic optimization and conversion optimization works equally well. So social media, remember, we buy from people we like and we like people we are like. So help people to like you. And we do that by sharing things that we're interested in. Mobile phones, technology, cameras, all sorts of things. We build relationships when we engage with people as people, and we buy from the people that we like. The next thing on social media is to help others. Stop looking at social media as a marketing channel, because as a marketing channel, we tend to view it as a way of getting stuff for us. And that kind of goes against what social media is about. Use social media as a means and a mechanism by which to hand out free information to those people out there, rather than get those people out there to give us stuff, which is kind of typical sales and marketing is give me stuff, give me money, come and buy from me. Whereas social media is, I care about you out there. Here's my content. Here's my information. Have it for free. Because we can do that with content and information. That's what this webinar is. That's exactly what this webinar is it's backwards marketing. I could just do a load of posts saying, hey, come and see me. I'm the best digital dental marketer there ever is. Spend lots of money with me and I'll help you. Yes, I could do that. I could do a Facebook advert that says, hey, I've created £83,000 worth of business for one client in one day. I could do that as well. But actually, what speaks louder than doing all of that is saying, here is some useful information that I'm putting all over the internet. This is proof that it works, and be altruistic in it. Hand out useful information. It's a really, really great way of getting engagement on social media. Guide people to your website. So let them know how you can help directly. So once you've done this, you've been social, you've shared things you're interested in, you've helped other people, gently guide them to your website. And here is an absolute key rule of marketing. This is a key rule of marketing all of the time. The first rule of marketing is to grab attention. And we use the mnemonic ADA. Grab attention. Unless you've grabbed someone's attention, you can do nothing more. You can do nothing with the marketing leaflet. So, whoops, I just so happen to have a leaflet sitting next to me. I didn't plan this, it just happened to have the leaflet next to me. So I've got this leaflet here. And this is actually really, really good at grabbing attention. It's a really nice little logo they've got on the front, obviously drawn by one of the children living at the refuge, but it really grabs your attention. It's brilliant. That is the first rule of marketing. I am not going to read any more in here unless it's got my attention. And it's got my attention, clearly so much so that I've still got it sitting on my desk and I've yet to take action on it. So grab attention. That is our first rule of marketing. Once we've grabbed someone's attention, we need to pique their interest. Once we've got them to actually read and engage with our message, we need to get their interest. So we can use lots of techniques to grab attention. We can use videos. We can use different forms of images on social media. We can use high impact images to grab people's attention. Videos work really well. To create interest is helping people understand that or helping people know that you understand where they are. So for example, if we're talking about dental implants, rather than say, hey, I can sell you dental implants. I know that's a bit extreme, but rather than say something like that, we could say, I know how difficult it is when you want to replace missing teeth because you get food stuck there all the time. Or you might have found that your teeth either side of the gap start to drift and you're getting biting problems or headaches. But so when we start to create interest in what we're talking about, people say, yeah, I recognize that. They look at that internally, say, yes, I recognize that internally. Yes, that is something that I'm interested in. So we need to create, to pique their interest. We then need to generate some form of desire. So once we've got their attention, they're interested, we then need to drive them towards a point of desire where they say, well, actually, yes, I do want to take action. So creating desire is about talking about how we can help with that particular problem, how we can solve their problem, why you are the person to go to, why should we listen to you, so what are your credentials, and lastly, have a call to action. Download this voucher now, come and see us, book an appointment, book your free consultation, click this button, press this, whatever it is. But make sure there's a call to action in there. So that's your rules of marketing. Always, always, always. Everything you do. Attention, interest, desire, action. All your social media posts, your social media stream, videos you do, make sure you use that mnemonic and it will work wonders for you. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about social media marketing and relationship building. On my seminars with Practice Plan. So if you want to come on a really good social media afternoon, we spend 3 hours pretty much talking just about this, about building relationships on social media. So have a look at Practice Plan, have a look at their website, and you'll see them running courses all around the UK. And we're booking through till February. So I know these courses are popular. So the first stage of building a relationship is actor bonds. We need to feel that we have some kind of connection with the person that we're talking to. We need to feel that there is a bond in order to take things further. And it's a real classic. It works in personal relationships as well. If we're looking for someone in a bar and I see someone at the bar and you go, oh yes, you connect eye to eye. There's a connection. There's a bond there to start off with. You can't take that relationship any further until there is some form of bond. And it works exactly the same in business. The next thing is an activity link. So once we've connected as a bond, so let's say you're in a bar and you see this person and you smile, there's a bond. You walk over and you might say, can I buy you a drink? There's the activity link. You can't take the relationship any further till you've gone through the activity links. And activity links in business are exactly the same. Activity links are things like, here is a link to my latest blog post where we talk about, does coconut oil whiten teeth? And so now you can see how things are all starting to link together. So we can talk about activity links. Visit our blog post where we talk about this. We're not asking for anything. We're not trying to sell anything. We're just helping and informing. You could even put links to outside resources, perhaps places like the Colgate website, to other dental resources. The British Dental Health Foundation have great resources that you could link to. So think about linking to other useful resources. It's part of the relationship building process. Even if they're not linking to your resource, to your website, it builds the relationship. People go, do you know what? This person's really good. They actually really care. They really care about solving my problems. They're not that interested in selling me stuff. They just want to help. So put links to other resources, not just your own. And the final thing is the resource tie. So you see the person in the bar, actor bond. You say, can I buy you a drink? Activity link. If they say yes, you can then say, do you fancy going out for dinner tonight? And we'll go halves on the bill. There's your resource tie. So you can't take the relationship further or quicker than its natural progression. This is by Harkinson and Snahota. This is not. I'll show you I'll just take my picture off here. You'll be able to see the reference here. So this is not something I'm making up. This is stuff that's been researched and has been looked at deeply. So the last stage is this resource ties, and that is where we say, come and spend money with us. Commit a resource to us. So make sure that your social media posts, social media stream falls into those three categories. Actor bonds, activity links, resource ties. Actor bonds is help me to like you, create a bond. Activity links is, hi Christopher, welcome, thank you for joining. Another dental marketing guru from Corona Dental. Thank you, Chris. Actor bonds to create bonds between us. Activity links to make sure that there are activities going on. And the final one is the resource ties. That's jumping up and down and say, come and see me because I'm the best. So actor bonds, 40% of your posts. Activity links, 40% of your posts. Resource ties, the jumping up and down, come and see me, 20% of your posts. And the bit that you can't outsource is actor bonds. You can't outsource you. So let's say you ask me to do your social media. I can do the activity links. I can put links on your social media stream to other useful resources. I can do the resource ties. I can say, come to your practice and download a voucher for a free consultation, for example. But I can't do the you. I don't know you. I don't know what books you like, what films you like, where you went last night, where you took the dog for the walk, what your dog's name is. I don't know that information. So the actor bonds bit can't be outsourced. And it's really, really important that you include that kind of relatively personal information, but stuff that other people can identify with. Get that on your social media streams. So we've been going for 45 minutes. I really want to get this wrapped up in an hour. So I've got to move on. PPC advertising. Facebook. So PPC advertising is a great way to drive traffic. Really good for traffic. Facebook is interruption marketing. You're interrupting people in the middle of doing something else. I may have interrupted you in the middle of watching something else, or you suddenly looked at my Facebook stream and thought, hey, Mark's there. Is interruption marketing. But it can be more demographically focused and targeted, which means that we can directly aim our social media paid advertising right, almost incisively to exactly the person we want, because we know their age, their gender, where they live, what they're interested in, what they're talking about, who they're connected to, what they're connected to, and what they've done. Unfortunately, that's how Facebook works. If you don't want to be in that list, don't use Facebook at all. But massive number of the population, it's well over half the UK are on Facebook. People are using it. People are part of this social graph. So Facebook understands your user behavior. We can target that, but we're interrupting in the middle of you doing something else. Google, on the other hand, is solutions-based marketing. People go to their phone, find me a dentist in Axminster, find me a dentist in London, find me a dentist in wherever you live. Help, I've got missing teeth, I want to replace them. Or dental implants in geographical location. So Google is solutions-based marketing. People are actively looking for a solution to their problem. It's less demographically targeted. It's far more difficult to incisively pick out the person we want to target our advert at, but it's targeted at someone that wants to solve a problem. So we tend to get higher conversion rates off of Google. This is not always true, as there are ways of running Facebook advertising campaigns that do get higher conversion rates, but generally for the basic user, I would say go with Google. We tend to get higher conversion rates for that reason. So, email marketing. I'm going to whip through this real quick now. So, email marketing, social media, and calls to action. This is conversion optimization, getting people to take action. And I use Aweber. I use email marketing and I love it. I love it for my personal marketing and I love it for my clients' marketing because email works. People say, email is spam. I don't like email because I get spam. Correct, 100%. But that's why it works. Because if you receive an email you don't want, it is spam. It engenders a reaction. Why are you sending me this email? I didn't want it. Who are you to send me an email? Because it's emotional. It's turned up possibly in our pocket. It's turned up in our inbox, in our private space. But here's an example. I do the National Lottery. I do the National Lottery online, digitally. Obviously, I live most of my life digitally. And I have a digital ticket. And if I win, I get an email. Guess what? That email is not spam. I am waiting for my email on a Saturday night to tell me I have won. So email as a communication medium in and of itself is not spam, is not annoying. It is the content of that email which makes it spam and annoying. Email can be fabulously good if people are waiting for the email from you. Email can be really good, and I'm going to show you how we do that very briefly. We need to understand a person's decision-making process. When someone makes a decision about where they're going to go for their dental treatment, or indeed whenever we're going to do anything, make any purchasing decision, the first stage is we will have a problem awareness, a needs recognition. I have a missing tooth, I want to replace it. I've got crooked teeth, I want to straighten it. I've got dark teeth, I want to whiten them. We then go to an information search. I've got dark teeth, I want to whiten them. What are my options? I've got missing teeth. What are my options? I've got crooked teeth. What are my options? I then find out that to replace missing teeth, I can have bridges, dentures, or implants. I now evaluate my alternatives. Once I've done that, I will then evaluate my service provider alternatives. I want implants. Do I go to this practice, or this practice? Once I've done that, I will make my purchase. Once I've done that, I will do my post-purchase evaluation. I will say, was that purchase a good purchase or not? And everyone will do this. Sometimes this happens very, very quickly. I'm hungry. I want a Mars bar. There's a shop. Buy it. Yum, yum. Or no, that's horrible. It can happen very quickly. Or sometimes it happens over a very long, extended period of time. I needed to replace a missing tooth. I'm not going to do it yet. I'm going to do it in 3 years. I've got clients that have come on board recently that have been in my marketing funnel. This is what I would call part of a funnel for 7 years. They came to me when they recognized the need 7 years ago. They've been on my database for 7 years and only now have said, actually, yes, I want to go ahead. So how do we use this in email marketing? This is how we make decisions. How do we use it? What we do is we can't do a lot about the problem awareness needs recognition. Most of the time, sometimes we can. I'm not going to go into that here, but we're going to say that someone's gone to Google, they recognize they've got a problem, they want to replace their missing teeth. They now go to the information search. So they go to Google. Let me remove me. That's it. That's about it. So they go to Google, they do a search for replacing missing teeth. They then say, well, I want dental implants. I want dental implants in a location. So they find your website. And this is what I recommend we do. I recommend we have a free guide on your website. I create these free guides all the time. Free guide to replacing missing teeth, straightening crooked teeth, cosmetic dentistry. It allows someone that's in the early stages of that decision-making process to take action on your site, strike whilst the iron's hot. And I've got a technician watching or technicians watching here. When I was working in the lab, I created a free guide. Everything you need to know about planning a smile design. Everything you need to know about planning an implant placement in conjunction with your laboratory. There's your free guide. There's always a free guide that can be written. So write the free guide and have it downloadable in exchange for an email address. So we don't just say, I'm going to hand it out willy-nilly without doing anything. They need to give us an email address. So if I just remove myself here again. So we have a download form. We have a form where that person can download the free guide from your website. Once we've done that, we then drop them into an email marketing campaign. So on the left-hand side, you can see a campaign list. For this particular client, I've got multiple campaigns running for hair loss, skin health, cosmetics, straightening crooked teeth, replacing missing teeth, and so on and so on. So there are multiple campaigns. And on the right-hand side, you can see the various emails that go out. So this was a fairly new campaign that had been running, so people hadn't got through right the way through to the end yet. But you can see the first email is your guide to replacing missing teeth. The system then waits 2 days and then sends an email, how much do implants cost? Waits 3 days. How comfortable are dental implants? Waits 5 days. And so on and so on and so on. It continually, very slowly drip feeds information to patients that we know they're interested in replacing missing teeth. We know they want more information because they've downloaded a guide. We therefore know that they want this kind of information. And all we're doing is handing out useful, free, relevant information. And there is sneaky tips about the interval for sending emails, but I'm not going to talk about it on this one because I need to crack on and get through this. So drop them into an automated email system. Aweber's fabulous. MailChimp also does another one. And then once we've done that, we can use those emails to drive people back to your practice website. So we can then in those emails say, would you like to request a free consultation? Would you like to download a voucher for a refund of initial assessment? Would you like to book an appointment? So we're using email marketing to drive people through to the request an appointment. And we can also do that in the evaluation of alternative stage. So let's say someone is on your website, they're trying to evaluate the alternatives. Which dental practice do I go to? If you have some form of incentive, it's a way of capturing their details. So refund of initial assessment, free consultation, discounted dental health check. All of these things really, really work well to get patients to take action. And remember, the discounted dental health check, you're probably doing it already. I had a client today, for example, who said their dental health check was £50. It was half an hour, which would make an hourly rate of £100 an hour. Most dental practices I know need to be generating at least £250, £300 an hour to pay for all the bills and the costs. So I know that that client is effectively offering a 66% discount on their hourly rate just for the initial consultation, but they're not being explicit about it. So what I'd recommend you do is be explicit and say, it is a discounted rate for a dental health check. Download a voucher for it is what you're doing already. But when people download a voucher, they drop into an email marketing system. They then make the purchase. So to make the purchase, you need to make sure you've got request an appointment forms and buttons on your website, all in the right place. And finally, ask people to leave you a review. So once they come in to see you, import their names and addresses into your email marketing system, remove them from these other follow-up emails they've been getting, and that's what we can do within Aweber, and ask them to leave a review. This is how you ask them to leave a review using digital marketing. Send them an email. All it says is, thank you for visiting our practice recently. A quick question for you. Would you be happy to recommend us to your friends and family? Yes or no? If they click no, send them through to an apology page. So send them to an apology page if they say no, which says, we're sorry you feel this way. Please let us know why and we can help to fix it. If they click yes from that email, send them through to a page on your website that says, brilliant, 5-star review means so much to us. What would you prefer, Facebook or Google? Here's a link to your Facebook reviews. Here's a link to your Google reviews. Click on either one of those, direct them through to the page, makes it easy for the patient to get reviews, and it will work and you will get more reviews if you ask them bit by bit by bit. Asking them straight away, go to Google and leave a review, sometimes can be too much. Asking them via email like this way, happy to recommend us? Yes? Good. Here's how, and you'll get a higher conversion rate on your reviews. So what we're doing is we're using email marketing to gently move people from point to point to point throughout their decision-making process.